Let's take a moment before I begin my speech to use our imagination skills. Think about how we as humans walk. Then imagine that in a dystopian type future, we had to walk with a higher step, like almost bringing our feet to where our knees would be. Then, along with that, imagine that we had spikes or something painful on our feet to make us do that. This is what the Tennessee walking horse that is used competitively has to go through nearly every day. I'm sure that not many of us have personally been to a walking horse celebration, but this is a huge event that takes place roughly 2.5 hours away from us, where horses have to suffer pain the whole duration of the celebration. As an FFA officer and someone around agriculture, you have morals when it comes to animal abuse. Sometimes having to debunk things that aren't actually abuse, but when you can clearly point out animal abuse, this is something you want to stop. I'm not giving this speech to attack anyone in the audience or accuse any of you guys doing this. I just want to inform you all what these horses experience and ways that we can try and stop these horrible acts from keep these horrible acts from stopping. All all of us have some experience around animals or agriculture related things, so we can all grasp the terrible acts that are going on within this organization. Today, I will inform you the cruelty of the Tennessee Walking Horse celebrations and try to persuade you to take action ending this cruelty. Some of the ways I will be doing this is by telling you the abuse that these animals go through and some ways we can aid to end this, and a little in between. Before we can jump into the abuse that these beautiful creatures endure, let's begin with learning about the Walking Horse celebration without mentioning the abuse. The Walking Horse celebration is held every year at the same time. The celebration has different arenas and these arenas can hold 34,500 people altogether. It is also estimated that this 11-day celebration brings in 2,000 horses and 250,000 spectators every year. The most recognized thing about the Tennessee Walking Horse is their big lick. The big lick is where horses have a higher gait than what they would normally have. Most of the walking horses undergo painful soaring to get their so-called big lick. According to the Kentucky Journal of Equine, Agriculture, and Natural Resources Law, soaring is the painful and artificial alteration of a horse's natural gait to achieve the big lick, prized in many southern gaited horse shows. There are different ways that a horse can be soared. According to the Humane Society, some of the things that take place during the soaring process is placing chemicals such as mustard oil, kerosene, and diesel on the horse's leg, covering them with plastic wrap and letting them sit for days. Action devices, just like this one, are also placed on the horse's leg, and things like grinding down the sole of the hoof, like this, to expose the tissue underneath the sole, which exposes the tissue underneath the sole and causes the animal to be in constant pain. Since we've looked at what soaring is, let's look at how there are rules to prevent soaring, but there still seems to be a way for it to continue. There are different laws and regulations to stop the soaring process. One of the laws that is currently in place and has been in place since the 70s is the Horse Protection Law. This is a federal law that prohibits horses subjected to a practice of soaring from participating in shows, sales, exhibitions, and auctions. With all that being said, at this year's celebration, the total number of horse protection law non-compliances detected by designated qualified persons was 53. At this same show, 53 horses were disqualified by show management. One huge thing that took place at this year's Tennessee Walking Horse celebration was that they let a trainer that had been banned for life from the organization back into the arena. This was Jackie McConnell. Jackie McConnell is a convicted felon who was charged with 52 counts of the Horse Protection Act and banned from the Tennessee Walking Horse celebration for life, and was suspended from entering the grounds for any and all events. However, at this year's celebration, McConnell was spotted in the crowd with his wife. One could say that him being allowed back despite being banned from shows how little the organization actually cares about soaring and the animals. One thing that is really interesting about the Horse Protection Act is some of the people who fight against it. One person who is very big on the prevention of horse abuse is Elvis Presley's wife, Priscilla Presley. She has spoken to congressmen on this issue, and in 2013, she requested that the Walking Horse organization return the Graceland Challenge Trophy that they had given because she was aware of the abuse that these horses went through to win a trophy. Now that we have looked at what the celebration is, what soaring is, and some regulations that are already in place, let's look at ways we as an individual and a group can help stop the abuse that these beautiful creatures endure. There are some things that we as an individual can do to help soaring and regulate this celebration. One thing that you can do as an individual to help this cause is to push your state senators and congressmen to keep revising acts and things that have already been made. On June 24th, 2021, a bill was presented to Congress to strengthen penalties for violation of the Horse Protection Act and improve Department of Agricultural Enforcement Act on this act. If acts like this keep being pushed and passed, eventually these horses will be unaffected by the soaring. There are also things we can do as a group together to help end these awful abuse that these animals go through. One way that we as a group can help aid the cause is to sign relevant petitions. There are multiple petitions and websites that you can go to, and you can find some of these by just simply searching Tennessee Walking Horse petitions on Google. By doing this, you are helping us to start and continue a change for the beautiful animals that endure so much pain in their life. Just one person signing a petition can start a movement. Now that you've learned about what these horses endure, how preventive laws don't always seem to work, and ways that we as an individual and a group can help this cause, let's conclude. The Tennessee Walking Horse Celebration is a very controversial celebration and has been tainted by many things. Some of the things that have tainted the organization and celebration are that there are many horses that are soared every year, and they don't really seem to follow the rules that they set themselves. We see this when horses are suspended from competitions because they have been affected by soaring. Another time that we see this is when they don't follow their own rules is when they brought Jackie McConnell back into the arena. Despite the terrible abuse that these horses go through, it seems to just keep going on. We as individuals and groups are going to have to help stop it, whether that is by signing petitions or calling our congressman. This is something that we all need to do. These beautiful horses need to be helped and saved from the miserable and terrible abuse that they have to deal with every day.